years. I gave myself 6 years to go back home, is to focus on education, because my first degree was in education. So what I did, I took time to study the education system in the US. How does it work? From primary school, how do you progress from primary school to secondary to finally college? What do you need? That information is readily available in the school district website. So if you are in Christiana, okay, which school district is this? Appoquinimink? Yes, if you go to Appoquinimink School District, go to the big website and go to resources. Go to parents, students, resources. Then narrow it down to parents' resources. And look and read those little things. They're very little, they're very tiring, they're very nasty. You feel tired. You're like, is this really important? But because I was determined to live here for only 6 years and go back home, because I said, this is not the America I could hear about, I was being told about. This is different. Life in Kenya was very beautiful. So I just want to go back home. So read those resources. They will tell you what your child will be learning in first, second, third, and fifth grade. They will tell you the standards that you will follow, and they will tell you the resources that are available for you and for your student. If your student is struggling in math, they will have a list of websites for free. You don't have to pay for anything, that you can go in and help your child go for tuition. If you don't want that public system, you can pay a tutor. My husband and I paid a university professor to tutor our children in math. It's very expensive, but when you look at the future, you know that it is valuable. We did not have money. We're living from hand to mouth, right? My husband working as a watchman. Imagine coming from Kenya as a manager and coming here and starting working as a watchman. How depressing that can be. I came from Kenya as a manager, came back and I worked in a group home, working 16 hours. Sometimes we worked 24 hours because we had to be home to do the homework. I cannot re-emphasize more what my husband said, that your participation as a parent in your child's education, how that is key for your child to succeed, how that is key for your child to get an A, how that will make a difference between your child graduating and not graduating. That is the resource I will give to those people who are still in elementary school. And just to back up how the scholarship comes in and how you will get the scholarship, it doesn't happen in 12th grade. It doesn't happen in 11th grade. It happens when you start. Some universities look at your students' grades right from 5th grade. So don't be lying. Don't be missing school. Don't be absent. Don't be having those delays. Then when later you're applying to school and you wonder why I didn't get an admission, it's because some schools look at that, and they look at that very keenly. And I know I did a research of all the schools' requirements. It is tedious, and I'm telling you, it is a full-time job as a mother, as a father, but sacrifice, it pays. Because we are a living experience, a living example that it has paid off. That when you do that, it will pay off. Study, for those who are, your children are way up on the grades, and I don't know what is the grades are, but I will speak. At least when your child gets to high school, or if you have high schoolers, how many high schoolers are here? So that at least I know which crowd. And you shoot up your hand. America is a land where you have to own your skills, you have to say what you have. How many as high schoolers are here? This is not a hand raise. You raise your hand like this. Or how many parents have high schoolers that are not here? Maybe I can speak for the parents. Yes. So when you have a high schooler, let me tell you how the scholarship works. I don't have a list. I can send you a list, but that might not work for you because I looked for a list that worked for my children. Like the things that I wanted. I have choices. I have a different belief. There are different churches. There are different things that I wanted. There are things that I wanted my children to do. And I tailored our scholarship search to that area. Honestly, I tailored my scholarship to medicine and nursing because that is my area and that is what our children got interested in. It's not that we pushed them, but we created the environment of medicine around them. That everything, anywhere they turned around, it was medicine. Everything is medicine. So go in, if you're a high schooler, first thing I want you to make a choice of the schools that you want to go to. I know when I used to tell to the parents, they thought I was crazy. There's some who really said, it's too early, you're bothering your children too early, when my kids were in high school. And for sure, some of them said, because I have a PhD, so I want my children to have a PhD when they're in high school. But when your child is in high school, have them do the work while you're guiding them and sitting there with them. Don't tell them to open the computer and then you go to work. You have to sit with them and ask them to look for the schools they want to go to. If they want to go locally, which I will advocate for, and I will tell you why I will advocate for every child that is seated here to go to a school locally. Why? Your mother, your father will not work a double for you to go through college. But there is a caveat. If you're going to be an engineer, then you have to find an engineering school. And that is the only caveat I have for you to go outside of the state, to go and search for that education somewhere else in another state. Because let's take an example. Let's look at the scholarship. I will talk about the scholarship in Delaware, how we narrowed all the scholarship search all over all the 50 states. We searched for all the scholarships. And I will tell you, all of them do not give housing for free. You get a full scholarship, but it does not come with housing. But when we narrowed down to Delaware State, the full ride came with housing and food. And as my husband said, we didn't pay a penny. We got money back, $5,000 every semester. That is money you can work as a CNA for, right? Well, your child can work. So why does he have or she have to work to earn that money when they can earn it in spending 3-4 hours over the weekend and looking for those scholarships? If you type scholarships, your area, let's take for example, I will divert from medicine. Let's say I'm interested in public health. And when I say I'm interested in public health, something rings in my head. I always told my kids, and I will tell all the kids that are seated here, look for a degree that when you graduate after 4 years, you have a job. Yes. After you graduate 4 years, you have a job. Your parents seated here are not millionaires. They're not billionaires. They don't have business. They don't have multi-million businesses where you graduate with a Bachelor of Business and get hired as a CEO without experience. Let's keep it real. So that is something I sang to my children. Make sure your 4-year degree has a certification. Your 4-year degree ends up with a certification. It could be a certification in psychology. It could be a certification in social work. It could be a certification as a registered nurse. It could be a certification as teachers. As a matter of fact, Johns Hopkins University is giving full ride scholarships for anyone interested in education, right here in Baltimore. Full ride scholarship right now. So teachers interested, and the US is in dire need of teachers, and it's the easiest job. If I was to go back and start all over, I'll be a teacher. Because after 4 years, you're earning that $6-figure dollar. And it is work from 7 to 2:30. And the teachers are very strict. 7 to 2:30, they leave. So that is one scholarship that I know. Yes, so don't be cheated that nursing is the only field. I'm a nurse, and I still practice. I work in clinical trials, but I still practice. So Johns Hopkins gives full ride scholarships for education. Delaware State has full ride scholarships for you to be trained as a teacher, for you to be trained as a psychologist. And you know how many psychologists are needed right now as we speak? A lot. And why? It's because of mental health. Because the nurse practitioners, the doctors, the psychiatrists, they will prescribe. But finally, who sits with the patient? Is the mental health worker. Who is what? Who is either a psychologist or a psychiatrist. A social worker is a resource person. So we can talk about that, two different fields. The social worker and the psychologist are two different people. So the social worker gets you resources, tells you what you can do. The psychologist talks to you in your mental, tells you how to deal with your mental work and stuff like that. So those are two different degrees, and they have a national certification. And the psychology exam is hard, but once you do it, you're a hotkey. Like right now, if you're a psychologist, I will recommend you and you will get a job. Because I know my friends in the area, they are looking for people who are licensed not just like this, no. And if you are in psychology right now, Apoquinimate School District is looking for interns, paid interns for the summer. And they will pay you and they will hire you. So that's why I say focus in Delaware. Focus your scholarship search in Delaware. And how do you do this? Go online and type scholarships in Delaware. If you don't want to go through the school district, even the school district has resources. They will have that. Search the scholarship you want. So let's take, for example, I said I will focus on public health because my husband is a public health officer. And there is a certification in public health. So public health is a very good field. And it's very easy work. It's office work, but it's very competitive. And what makes it very competitive? Because the doctors want to be public health officers. They have to get a certification for them to lead a team. Either they have to have an MPH, correct? Or they have to have another degree in public health for them to be medical directors or for them to be able to lead a team of medical practitioners. And why? Because public health deals with population health. As a medical doctor, you're trained to deal with one person. So you have to have that public health knowledge for you to be able to be told that you can lead. That is when they follow the law. But when you know someone, as a doctor, you can lead a team without having that. But for you and me, we need that education at the back of our mind, at the back of our pocket, for us to be able to get those jobs. So search in Delaware State and get those scholarships. Once you narrow down, if you go to, when you search the scholarship, I'll walk you through when I think I look up. I don't know whether that is Christian or what. So I might not look at you. So when you go in and you type scholarships in Delaware, and a list of scholarships will come, and a list of scammers will come, and they will be tracking you. So one thing you have to remember, no scholarship will ask you for your social security. No scholarship will ask you for both your driver's license and your date of birth. That is a red flag. When you're searching on the search engine, make sure there is a sign of a key. You know the padlock? If there is a sign of a padlock on the search engine, that gives you a clue that that is a safe website. Because some people will lead you through and you think it's a genuine, and I'm talking from experience, you think it's a genuine website, it's a genuine scholarship. They lead you through until now they say, okay, now for you to apply, we need your social security, and they, that rings a red flag, okay? Once you find a scholarship, let's take for example, our son got a scholarship to USC, which was it UC? One of the universities in California. It wasn't a full scholarship. But then I thought this was too good to be true because we lived in California and I know the school. So what I did is to pick up the phone and call the school counselor, the university school counselor. Let me tell you, this is okay. Those people pick up the phone and they will answer you. So don't be scared. If you don't want to talk to them, you're scared, they might not understand your English, write an email. They will respond because people are hired in these offices and they will respond to you. Your child needs an admission to that school and there is a question on the admission process. Pick the phone as a father, as a mother, or as a child if you are 18. Some of them might not talk to you if you are below 18 because they might need a consent from your parent. But pick that phone and call and clarify. They will answer you. I called. I know my husband sometimes says, you've been here too long, but I have to call to verify that actually this scholarship exists in this school. Because there is no umbrella scholarship. There is no like scholarship coming from anywhere. Unless it's like a scholarship we run as Kebaso Foundation, which you search the owners of those scholarships. And information is free. If you search Kebaso Foundation, you will know the founders, you know where they are, and you can call their workplace, and you call them and they say, this person runs a scholarship program, and I wanted to make sure that it is a legitimate person. It's a legitimate scholarship. Don't be scammed of your information. It is not worth it. But what I always told my kids, and I will tell the kids here, a good, and let me read, Proverbs 10:1. It says, a wise son brings joy to who?
The mother.
To the, who said the mother? The father. A wise son brings joy to the father. And what does the son bring to the mother? Disgrace.
Yeah, great.
Disgrace. When I read that verse, when I was nursing our firstborn, I read a lot of books. Because I didn't have a job, I was home with the baby. So I read a lot of books, and I read the Bible. And when I read that, that stuck with me. And I told my children, every day they came home and someone didn't want to do the homework. I said, remember, when you don't do your homework, you're a disgrace to me. Do you want to be a disgrace to me? Then that made sure that people did their homework. Honestly, when you plant the tree and water it, you will reap the fruits. So parents, plant the tree. Look for these scholarships. I'm sure some of you were looking for a list. A list, I will send it to now Dr. Joy. Now I will send the list, potential list, but that is not exhaustive. And as I said, it is biased because I look for it because I look with an intention. But I can name for you, if you want to name some of, if everybody is listening to me and wanting to stay local, there is a simple scholarship to get through college. You just need a GPA of 2.5 to go to Delaware. 2.5. You know what is 2.5? What is 2.5? You know what you have to get a 2.5? Is a C. You just, and how do you get a C in high school? You just need to be present in school. In America's system, it is not the Kenyan system.
Yes.
In America's system, you just need to be present in school, in class, Monday through Friday, and submit all the assignments. You don't have to get them correct, and you will get a C. And once you have a C, a 2.5 C, you have a full scholarship in Delaware State. And you will finish your degree. Am I lying? Go to the website, Delaware State. You have a 2.50, you will have a full scholarship. Why? We pay taxes. Me and you are working hard. You will not get that, what do you call financial aid? No, you will not get. If your household, that is my next point. If your household makes more than 150,000 combined income, you will not get any scholarship. There is no financial aid scholarship. And let nobody lie to you. Because I was in an event one time and someone said, oh, and this is the person I know who one person makes over 100,000. And the other person is working. And they lied to people that you will get a full scholarship. There's no full scholarship.
I'm confused. Financial aid. No scholarship you will get.
You will not, yes, thank you. You will not get financial aid, but you will get an academic scholarship. But remember, the academic scholarship will come with its benefits if you're local. Like our son will not get it. He really wanted to go back to California, but he will not get a full scholarship in California. Why? The full scholarships are left for the locals, the Californians. Yes, they gave him half the tuition, but they could not give him a full scholarship. Even if he had excellent everything, but some schools gave him, tried to bother him and say, oh, we can add you maybe 3,000, we can add you this. No. An academic scholarship, locally, you will get a full ride scholarship. And when you get a full ride scholarship, you're going to medicine, you're going to nursing. Nobody cares where you graduated from as a nurse. I worked with people who graduated from Harvard. They had a loan on their head. A big one, a mortgage. The people who graduated from Stanford. But what comes, we get paid the same amount. It's the same per hour. I graduated from Azusa. You graduate from Delaware State. You graduate from Deltech. Nobody cares where you graduate from. What matters, you becoming a nurse. If your son or your daughter is going to do a second degree, and a second degree is either law, medicine, pharmacy is two-way. You can have pharmacy as a second degree or as a pharmacy straight degree at Pennsylvania, Florida, and Texas. There are a few schools, because I researched my kids who are interested in medicine or pharmacy. So there are a few schools in the United States. And if you're interested in pharmacy, it's a very good field. But I believe it holds the best and educated students, because pharmacy is hard. Pharmacy is actually harder than medicine. The prerequisites and the process, the school, is very hard. Why I tell you this? We lived in Loma Linda, and the pharmacy students committed suicide because of the rigor of the program. But that is not scary because you go in knowing what you went in for. The people who go in and they want to score all A's, you're already in the program. You've scored A's, you're in the program. Just make sure you're passing the class. And don't kill yourself. We love you so much. I'm sorry to divert, but education should not lead you to kill yourself. So don't do it. So scholarships, focus local. Graduate from your local university. But if you're going to engineering, especially chemical engineering, go to UD. You will get a scholarship. But if you're going to electrical engineering, you see the chemical engineers are saying, you're going to electrical, mechanical, please work hard and get that 1,500 in SAT and get a scholarship and go to Cornell, go to Harvard, go to MIT, go to these schools. And if you need help to kind of like design that, we do that for free. We don't charge. We don't charge any guidance. I have a lot of mentors, students that I mentor. We discuss on one-to-one on what you need. But today is just to say that take the time and search for those scholarships. I cannot reinforce it anymore. That it takes time. And when I say it takes time, sometimes I will sit there from 8 o'clock and I might not even remember there was lunch until the evening, and then my husband says, I know you're not even thinking about lunch. It's time for some of us to eat. Then you get up. Okay? Delaware State. Now I'm honing in home. After I've told you can get scholarships. And when I'm talking about scholarships, I'm talking about academic scholarships. Merit scholarships. You get because you work hard in school. Before I finish on that, let me just talk about the financial aid. If you don't make more than 150 in your household, and your child is a straight A student, and you want them to go to Harvard, you want them to go to Johns Hopkins, they will go for free. They will go for absolutely free. Why? They get financial aid. Something I want to remind the parents and the students. When you apply for FAFSA, you get two things. You get the financial aid and you get the FAFSA student loan. The financial aid will show up if your income meets that criteria. And the loan will show up. And you will not get any money from the school or any scholarship without applying for that FAFSA. Even our kids, you have to apply. It is the system. But remember, if you have a scholarship, please do not accept those loans. Do not accept a loan if you are on a scholarship or if you have financial aid. Accept the financial aid and then leave the loan out and decline. You know why? You take that loan, it will be $10 now, but in the future, it will be $100. In 2 months, in 2 years, in 4 years when you graduate, it will be a $10 McDonald's that you bought today with that student loan. It will be $100 in 5 years. Do not accept that, okay? But if you make, I cannot reinforce that more because I know some of us, especially Kenyans, the Nigerians, the Ghanaians, they knew the trick. They knew the loophole. If you as a family, you don't make a lot of money. Like I remember when we applied to Johns Hopkins and we are desperately looking for a scholarship because we really wanted our son to be close here, not too far away, and we wanted him to get a scholarship. And they said they do not have any merit scholarship. No Ivy League school has a merit scholarship. Let nobody lie to you. They do not have a merit scholarship. What they have is a financial aid scholarship, which is pegged on your income. So if you make any more money, you do not have an income. And you know what Johns Hopkins told us? We were actually to pay for our child and pay for someone else. Like literally the school fees was more expensive for everybody because they tell you, yes, the school fees is $78,000 a year. Then when you put in how much you make and everything, your expenses and everything, and then when you get the bill, it's more than 78, and you're like, am I real? I remember we called the school and said, what happened? Then they explained to us. So I'm sharing it with you. Don't get a shock, don't get discouraged. If you make that income, apply to any school of your choice, but look at the admission letter and the requirements that it needs. I know of a student that lost a scholarship here in Delaware State for what I call a stupid thing. Because they only need you to do 10 hours of volunteer work. But the student didn't do it. They thought it's a scholarship. I got the scholarship, so it is there. No, the scholarship comes with its own things. You have the 10-hour volunteer hours you're supposed to do, and then some of it might come with other things. So make sure you read that, highlight it, print it, and hang it. If you come to my house, I have a notes board where if I want something to remember, I put it in the notes board. So each one of them, when they go to college, I print out their course outline, the courses they're supposed to do, and I say highlight when you're done. One way, all the students, you can close your ears to the parents. It will make sure that the child is actually in school. Because let's not forget that we were young before, right? And the child is going to school, but is going to school, and then graduation comes, the child is not graduating. What happened? Because you didn't check, you assumed they are 18. We tell our kids, you're 18, but you are under whose roof? This is Kebaso home. This is our home. You abide by our rules. Yes, the rules of this house have to abide until you move out. Okay? So make sure you track your child's education, especially when they get the scholarship. The mother was disappointed, and what I simply asked, did you read their award letter? Were there any things that needed to be done? She said, I didn't. And I said, well, go back and read and find out whether the child obeyed the scholarship rules. Because if they did, they will get it. And you know, once you've lost it, you've lost it. You don't get it back. Delaware State has the Aspire Scholarship, 2.50, 2.5 GPA, and we talked about it, see, and you get it. They have the Presidential Scholarship if you have a 4.0 GPA from high school. That is 100%. If they want to stay in the dorm, they will stay. And let them go if they want, because the dorm will be paid for, the food will be paid for, the school fees will be paid for. You as a parent is to drop them and check the grades. Please don't forget to check the grades. Make sure you check the grades, and they come back and they will finish. So anybody in Delaware wants to study, please go to Delaware State, and you will have the best education. Scholarships come with even summer internship and even work study. Delaware State has a lot of programs funded by NIH, National Institute of Health, funded by the federal government, the FBI, computer science. Anyone in Delaware State doing computer science and interested in work study, they have it at the university. They will hook you up with the FBI and they will give you internship for the summer. The caveat, you have to read, do your donkey work, know when to apply for them. Because right now, we're not talking about scholarship for the people who are going to university right now, because the deadlines have passed. We are in June. Right now, the decisions are out. Whoever got a scholarship, got a scholarship. So make sure you apply for those scholarships when they open. For 11th, 10th, and 11th graders, put in your community hours. Come here to church, volunteer. Go to the community, to the food kitchen, volunteer. Those hours look like nothing, but they are very valuable when they are considering you for a scholarship, especially for the academic scholarship. Last but not least, there's something I discovered many parents didn't know, is what is called the SAT. Please have your children do it. Most of the public schools do not, even the private schools, they do not advocate for it. But you cannot get an admission without it, except if you go here to Delaware State. They try to be nice to the people locally. So you might wonder why my child applied to these schools and they did not get, because they have a minimum requirement. In Delaware State, the minimum for you to get a scholarship is at 1,200. The exam is marked out of 1,600. For you to get a scholarship to an Ivy League school, you have to get at least 1,500, on top of making less than what they expect for you to get the financial aid, which they call the scholarship, but it's actually a financial aid. It's not a merit scholarship. As much as you would have passed and met the grades, you will have get all your straight A's, you got your SAT 1,500, 1,550, UPenn is at 1,580. So for you to get a scholarship or to get that financial aid. So make sure your students read for that exam, and they do it. And they do very well. And the exam is repeat. You can do it as many times. So start in 11th grade and do it. And by now, if you're going to college, you should already have done it. But make sure, read the nitty-gritties of your award letter for your scholarship. And I will send the list of the links to the scholarship that I have. I will update it because I know we did this last year, because that's when we had the last high schooler, and Joanne can share with all of you, because I didn't want to go through like each one of them. And if you have any questions, Joanne and Pastor Obare, they have our numbers, just reach out. You can make a one-on-one, and we talk about it, and we look at the scholarship. Anybody with a question? I know I've talked too much. I can talk for 2 hours when it comes to education. Anybody with a random question? Remember, there's no question that is stupid. There's no question that does not have a value. Yes, Pastor Lucy.
Are those scholarships only available for the young people, or what about adults? I mean, to go to school?
Yes. And I know my husband talked about scholarship for the left-handed and the right-handed, and people laughed. When you look for them, they are scholarships. Especially for the left-handed, they're scholarship, and it's very good money. For the people who are going to school, let's say those people who work in Christiana. Christiana gives you about 5,000 to go to school. You have no reason to pay for your masters if you intend to be in Christiana. Go to the black women in nursing, the black women in medicine. Now we have the aviation women in Delaware. Delaware State has a program for aviation pilots. You go to school for free. And now I'm talking to the adults. The scholarships there, the scholarships that when they come, you will now filter for the age appropriate, the field appropriate. Remember, when you go in, you have to have a plan. And I said, you said from public health, look for scholarships in Delaware for public health, or scholarships that fund people in public health. And then they will come. And then you will read and see which states they fund, because they are very clear which people they fund and which states. And then you will find them in Delaware. As an adult person trying to go to school, please don't spend money. I know I have a loan for my PhD because I never got this. I never knew that there were scholarships. So I took loan for me to make it easy. But to my adult people who are going to school, money is there. Money is there in plenty. Especially for our boys. It is very much in plenty for you to get. It's like when our kids got the scholarship, we were in disbelief, like how much money they got for free. And I was like, is this America? I was like, this is unbelievable. But then it is the work that we put in and they put in, because at some point you have to delegate. Once you're filtered, there's things that now you have to tell them to do. Create a spreadsheet for them. Tell them, list the scholarship, the requirements of the scholarship, the programs the scholarship covers. Because the programs cover a lot of scholarships. For the nurses in the house, how many are nurses in the house? The Pisco. If you want to go for your masters, they offer free scholarships. Try and look. South here, you people are in the South. There are hospitals and clinics here where you can work and the government will pay for your masters for free. Because down south in Milford, when you go down to the south, it's considered underserved area. So if you're a nurse practitioner and you have a student loan, drive 30 minutes out, work for that place for 5 years, and your student loan will be paid off. And you'll be driving from your own home. You don't have to go to the desert. You don't have to go to the cold to go get your loan paid off. Okay? Young man had a question.
So what's the website you gotta go to again?
You go on Google. If you use Google Chrome or you Google Safari, you say, which area are you interested in? Biology? You're doing a degree in biology? Which year are you in college? You finished biology?
No, I'm taking a break.
I'm sorry? Okay.
I'm taking a break from school.
You're taking a break from school? So what you do, you look at, for biology, it's, I'm trying to think, like how to direct you straight. So go online. What do you want to become in the long run? Do you want to work in the lab? Do you want to go to clinical trials? Are you doing it as a pre-med? Oh, there's so much scholarship. I was just talking to a friend of his that we became friends. She's a professor at Auburn University. Plenty of scholarships if you're going to zoology. So let's talk. You just Google scholarships in zoology or botany, and then you will see all of them populate. And as I said, filter them to states where you want to live, because you also have to be comfortable where you're going to school. To the state where you're going to live, before you actually lower them to states, find out which ones are good scholarships, like full scholarships that you can take. And then finally, when you read at them, you see whether they are state delegated, because those states are very selfish, not very selfish, very protective of their taxpayers. Because you want to give scholarship to someone who lives in your state, who is going to give back to your state. They don't know that you're going to graduate and move out, but you've lived here for 2 years, then you will get a scholarship. But if you have not lived in a state for more than 2 years, you will not get a full scholarship. They might give you 10,000, they might give you 15,000, while the tuition is 40 or while the tuition is 70, but they will not give you a full merit scholarship. But FAFSA the student aid you will get, depending on how much you make. So zoology, botany, there is plenty, because not many people want to go that area, and yet there is a lot of resources. Bill Gates has a lot of funding in that area too, and the World Bank is invested in botany to make sure the climate change and environment. So there is a lot of money being pumped to those schools that have specialties in zoology and botany. Delaware State has a program. I know my husband wants me to stop. But Delaware State also has a program in the biology program, agriculture, School of Science and Agriculture. They have a program there, and the students that go there, because I know 2 of them, they're going there for free, and they had a free summer internship. And actually one of them is at Jefferson with my daughter on a full paid internship. And when I say that, it's about $5,000 with housing paid. You just need to ship your baby there, and they make that $5,000. Yes.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate both of you.
Yeah.
That's my wife, and this is my daughter. She just got a scholarship to UD, presidential something scholarship. She's going to do neuroscience. There's a balance that will be left. Now that I'm hearing all this money, so she wants to become a neurologist. So what advice would you give us as far as offsetting everything? Because thank you so much.
Just to give an umbrella, but we can have a one-on-one discussion, because I don't want to influence her decision, and I don't want to influence anybody's decision.
Sure.
I have to be, everybody here is Kenyan, right?
No.
Okay. Oh, there's Jamie. Everybody here is an immigrant,
Yes.
right? As I look around, everybody here is an immigrant. When you're choosing a school, which is about 2,000 every month, and he cannot catch up. And they had a good conversation, and the other one was telling me, Auntie, I'm so glad I followed my dad's advice. And I went to a local school that gave me a full scholarship, because now I don't think about anything. I just go to work, and I have my money, and he actually bought a house. Like, he stayed with the parents and saved for 2 years and bought a house cash. And has no mortgage, all he has to do is work. Can you imagine that life? Where you don't have, sometimes you just take off and you're not worried because you don't have a mortgage. All you know that the little money, even if you take 2 months off, you're not worried that you're going to miss anything. You're not going to be in any trouble. Okay? And I talked about pharmacy. And I will give a good scenario why, if you're interested in pharmacy, why it's very good. Our friend, one of our best friends, is a millionaire in dollars because he's a pharmacist. Millionaire in dollars, a Kenyan. So people make money. We don't make that. We still have student loans to service. And that's why we made a purpose, not to let any of our children, even our neighbors and everything. We speak, you can listen, you can do it, but at least someone spoke to you. Don't go same hole. Don't let anyone go through the hole that you came out of. Please lead them to a safe and productive hole. So why I talk about pharmacy, you can work in the hospital. And there are 2 different kinds of pharmacists. The pharmacy that works in retail is hard for them to go work in the hospital. So if you're thinking about going to pharmacy and work in the hospital, make sure you intern in the hospital. If you're going to pharmacy and you want to work in retail, intern in retail. They're two different, yes, you can transition if you know someone or you get well connected, but it will take you longer to transition from retail to hospital. But hospital to retail is easy. That is the last one. I want to go back. We needed a whole day to talk about this, right? So why I like pharmacy, and we're trying to cultivate our daughter to go pharmacy, because when you work in pharmacy, you can open a pharmacy and sell medicine. And it's very laid back and lucrative business. And there is no corruption in the US. I mean, if there is, there is. But when you have a license and you have your business, it's the people who come through the door to buy your medicine. And you can find contracts and you can be very successful as a pharmacist. So, and we need them because every retail, like whenever you go to Rite Aid, they have to have a pharmacist. It's not like in Kenya where you find people didn't go to school dispensing medicine. It really upsets me. Until when I came here, when I go back, I really get upset when I'm standing at the counter, knowing that the person behind there selling me the Tylenol or the amoxicillin has no idea even how that medication works. All they know is amoxicillin, it reads here amoxicillin, even when the prescription is wrong. They will give you the wrong prescription. But here, if your prescription is written wrong, the pharmacist will tell you, we are not feeling it like this, you have to go back to your doctor to give you a different prescription. So there will be pharmacists needed. Look at the job market, kids, to finish up. As you look for scholarships and schools, look at the job market. Where are we headed to? And choose a degree that will give you a job. There's one degree, I call it, for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's a degree called business administration. There was a time for it, and it passed. So we are past that. We are past business administration jobs. That one, that is, leave that for the billionaires, kids who graduate high school, and they put them in that business. They are your managers. They come in as administrators, and 2-3 years they are the chief executive officers. And you wonder how? It's because this is their grandparents' business. This is their parents' business. And how am I going to employ someone to be my administrative assistant when I have someone in my house to do the work? I'm not going to do that. So this business administration has no licensing. And when I talk like this, let me give you this story. Because this one, and you know why I'm giving you this? I know he wants me to stop, but it brings tears to my eyes. There was this young man in California. I said, since last year, January, I purposed in my heart not to go to the grave with any knowledge that I have. It will be so bad. We were in California new, and this young man, they were Kenyan parents, came to our house to help us fix our garage. And but if you interact with me, it will not take 5 minutes before I ask you, what do you do? If you're in school, what are you studying? What are you intending to do? That is my conversation. Because I want to know what you're doing, I want to share whatever I have with you. So I said, as they're making the garage, no, they're walking out. My husband has let them out, so we finished and they go. And I said, young man, where are you in school? He said, oh, I'm here and here. What are you studying? He said, kinesiology. I said, what? What are you studying? Kinesiology. I said, okay, so what are you going to be? He said, oh, I want to be the sports medicine. Sports medicine person. I said, sports medicine what? A sports medicine person. I said, sports medicine physician or sports medicine what? Because I know sports, they hire physicians, right? Yeah. They hire medical doctors. So then he said, oh yeah, I want to be in sports medicine. I want to help them, when they come out of the field and they help them to do them. I said, you need to be a medical doctor for you to do that. Yes, you do. Kinesiology is a pathway to medicine. He said, oh no, I don't want to go to medicine. I just want to do kinesiology and look for a job in sports medicine. And you know what I told this young man? This was, that was 2012. Remember we moved in 2012. And I said, no, I think we need to talk. You need to refocus and know exactly what you're going into. What you're going into needs a medical degree or a PhD in physical therapy. And that's what I said. I said, you either need a PhD in physical therapy or you need to become a medical doctor. But just graduating with the kinesiology bachelor's and wanting to work for an NFL team as a person who will help them off the field, that is, I said, I don't watch sports, I don't know, but at least I know the education part of it, that you will not get a job there. I said, oh, well, then one time we met with the parents, and I shared what I talked to the son, because he was a minor. So I said, your son said he's doing this, he's in college, but is there a way to talk him and have him the sense that what he's thinking is not actually what is going to happen? He said, oh, watoto squeeze, you know, what children of today, you don't choose for them, you just let them be and choose what they want to be. To cut down the story, the young man finished the 4 years. Tarmac for 2 years. The other ones that we talked to and went to medicine, they were in the senior year in medical school. Then the young man had the aha moment that what Dr. Lenah said was actually true. There is no job. I finished 4 years. I've been out for 2 years. I haven't been able to get a job, and here I am. And he went back to medical school. See how much time he had wasted? How much time how much resources he had wasted for 6 years? And I can give you so many of these examples. And when I talk, I'm not talking fiction. I'm talking about the people that I'm talking to right now. Like the people I have a one-on-one. I like the young people. When we meet, we talk education. We talk how to better your life. And I can tell you, and that's why I don't like the business. The business degree, I have 3 that did business. And we talked and he said, oh, what are you going to do? One was going to do business and work in the retail company and become a CEO. I said, that is business for the rich kids. That is work jobs for the rich kids. But finally they turned around, the other 3, and became nurse practitioners. 2 of them graduated this week. So please don't go the long route. Some of us migrated from the US to come here and we followed the long path. Yes. Follow the straight path. Design what you have to do. Look for the scholarship and get to school. I'm sorry, I took. Okay, come on.
Thank you for the valuable information you have provided. But I think I can talk to on behalf of a lot of parents, especially those who have been able through the school system here. I think it's very confusing because once our children become a junior in high school, that's the time we start talking about college. Most of us, and like you are saying, my child will come and tell me I want to be an engineer, and I think as a parent, most of the work I have to do is to make nurturing my child to excel in school and make sure I'm communicating with the school to make sure the grades are up to where I think they're gonna get the scholarship. Then now the process of applying to school comes in, and we rely on the FAFSA system to see what the outcome will come. Like saying about those who have the income, you apply for this scholarship or you apply for school, and so you're gonna get certain percentage of presidential merits and school merits and all that. So I think what I'm getting from you is like we need to get out of that and probably get more involved in the process. I don't know where to start as a parent. You said that there are options there online, but I think I can attest to a lot of parents here that we wait for the system to provide us. And also, I don't know how you can talk about the students who are also involved in being athletes, and how that ties in the whole process of the scholarship.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I have.
So the students, I'll start with the last point. The students that are involved in sports, if you're playing varsity in high school and you're going to apply for scholarships, Remember, the grades also matter. So make sure your grades are up and then apply for those sports scholarships. But make sure that the sports scholarship you're applying for is something you have a passion for. You're not applying because you want the money. Because once they give you a sports scholarship, they need time from you. And that's why most of the students don't do very well when they are on a sports scholarship. A good example, you go to a sports scholarship, let's say in Delaware State, and it's not an exclusive. I speak of it because I know of it. Because I know, like, once you get, let's say you get into volleyball as a sport, you get a full scholarship to go and do volleyball for the university. You have to wake up in the morning at 4:30 to go for practice. You have a class at 8. Sometimes you're coming back around 7:30, 7:45. So you have that 15 minutes, you're tired, you have to shower and go to school. And that happens for all the schools. During the day, they will need you for practice. And sometimes it falls on your classes. The professors will give you an excuse. It's no big deal. But then they will not give you an excuse on the grade. When it comes time to do that test, and you have to pass. So you have to choose where you have to do it. But remember, I said a C is a 2.5. And it will give you a scholarship. And it will give you a sports career. If your child is excelling in sports, encourage them. Let them do it. But remind them the rigor. They have to be able to put time in school. So it's like they're running two things at the same time. They have their academics and they have their scholarship to maintain. Because some of them lose the scholarship. Because if you can't go for practice and you're focusing on your education, the sports teacher will let go. And they will say, he's not putting in as much time as he expected. And they will drop you from that scholarship. But if you're able to put it in the time, and it's manageable. Many people have done it. And they can do it. How to start with a scholarship? There's a school in Delaware, here, Delaware State, called Ali College High School. They have started middle school, 7th grade. I know now they have a waiting list because we have marketed the school like we have shares. And why we have marketed the school and we talk to parents about it, because by the time your child graduates high school, they have an associate degree. College credits that they can transfer to any university because it's a university accredited. And it's an accredited university. So any credits you do from that school, you can transfer it to any university in the US. So that is a good place to start if you have high schoolers, because I don't see there are so many of them. And if you tell them that Dr. Lenah Kebaso referred you to them, if they have a spot, they will give you. Because the people I've referred to the school have excelled. Because I know our people, our immigrants, work hard. Our students don't go there to sleep. That is a way to do it. And don't look at it that it's too late. It's only too late for the 11th graders. If you have an 11th grader right now, remember the community hours. You cannot sit down and do 1,000 hours. And that counts. The schools, most of them are very particular. They want to know when you apply, they want to know how many you did each year. Not like you wait until you finish 12th grade and then you start doing community hours. Make sure you do them each year. Even the people in elementary school, when you come here to church, let them volunteer. Program a program where you have volunteer certificates. They keep those and make a portfolio. That is another thing we did with our kids. Have a portfolio from Staples. When they have a certificate, academic related, put it in. Have a conversation with the teachers. The counselors, at the school counselors, they're very resourceful. They will even give you the links to the scholarships. Like that school, Ali College High School now, and with the middle school, they sent us over 1,000 links when our kids were in 11th grade. And they start sending that when they're in 9th grade, because they know the journey starts there. I can talk the whole day. You have my number. Feel free to call me. If I don't pick up, leave a message, send me a text. I'll always create time. At least I always say, at least I meet with your child at least 3 times a year and make it happen. Because I do it for free. I don't have much time, but I will make it happen. Any last question?
We are not tired.
No, I can see people are hungry. We have to be real. You people have been sitting here since morning, right?
It's okay.
Huh?
It's okay.
You've been sitting. Me, I can talk the whole day. If you want me to talk, I can go.
The other questions now they can be one-on-one.
Yes.
Therefore, for the sake of time.
I think I want to respect the time Pastor gave us, because I don't want us to burn ourselves so that next time he doesn't give us the podium. So we are here, we are local. You can organize another day and we show up, and still, we don't even have to come. You can also get to our place. We have an office at home. We can take care of your questions. But one thing I wanted to say so that we finish. The question you have is valid. If you wait until junior, and that is when you want to start making applications for school, you are already late. So the journey begins right at 9th grade or before. And then when it comes to SAT preparations, the student, they don't really know what is happening. We need to take them through to understand where do they need to prepare, which areas do they need to cover. And a good SAT score is actually the gateway to merit scholarship. It goes hand in hand with a good SAT score or ACT score plus the GPA. So you don't want the student to fail in SAT or ACT and then they have 4.0. Somebody who is looking at an academic, they say there's something wrong. Maybe the school, then they start saying Delaware State gives 4.0. It's an awkward score. Because a child has 4.0 GPA, but when it comes to the standardized test, they are not anywhere near a good score. So you want your child to be balanced, to have good SAT, ACT, or SAT incorporated with the GPA. So we can talk more and more, but one thing I wanted to say before I finish, and I don't want my wife to leave here because I want a good picture of this day. So, oh, no, I need a picture with you, honey. That was without you.
So let me give you my personal number. I don't care, because if I don't know you, I don't answer your call. You have to leave a message, and I have to find out. I Google your name. Make sure you sign your name. I'll Google your name and know who you are, then we'll catch up. But make sure you leave me a good detailed message, and I will for sure get up with you. 951-524-8502. Call me. The youngsters, remember,